Hola, Wine Chisme familia. We've got some exciting news to share. The Wine Chisme now has a voicemail line. That's right, you can literally call us, leave your thoughts, questions, or even suggest topics you want us to dive into on future episodes. Whether you want to share how an episode resonated with you, or ask about previous wines we've featured, or even tell us about your own chisme, we want to hear your voice. Porque este podcast has always been about connection, and now we can make that connection even more real. So grab your phone and call us at 858-304-0266. Leave us a message, tell us your name, where you're calling from, and whatever's on your heart. Who knows? Your voice might be featured on an upcoming episode. Because at the end of the day, Wine and Chisme is about all of us coming together, sharing our stories, and celebrating our community. Now, be a part of the podcast in a whole new way. Again, that number is 858-304-0266. We want to hear from you. Hey, we are back. It's our February Chisme episode of Wine and Chisme with my girl, Erika Sánchez of Braid Communications. As always, how are you, girl?
I'm good. I've missed you, Jessica. I feel like this little break that we took was too long. We can't
It
do breaks
was.
anymore. I can't do it. I can't handle it.
I know. It was like we got on the phone the other day and I was like I'm about to fall asleep. And then when I was like, okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna go take a nap. But it felt like forever that we had talked, which was no
Right,
bueno because
right.
we do talk so often and everything, even if it's not on our Chisme episode, we
Yes,
legit set calls every other week so we can
yes.
catch up on work, catch up on our own personal Chisme so we can just, and we haven't this year. So this is the first time
hmm
we're really going to get into it. And I'm so excited because there's some juicy stuff.
There is so much. This year started off like insane. Like, how is literally, we have not even finished the month. So it hasn't
I
even been
know.
2 full months yet.
I know. Well,
And
before we
it's
get
insane.
into it, I know you're drinking wine because you're like, let me pour myself a glass. What you drinking, girl?
I'm doing a
But
nice little California
Chardonnay.
chard. Yes. I was
I
like,
would
I
not drink
need
that because I
something.
don't like buttery Chardonnays, but I love that
Mm,
for.
I was like, I need something reminiscent of warmer weather
Yeah, because girl,
because
you are East Coast and I just saw your
my
story and your
story.
entire patio is fully just all of that furniture is fully just with like inches and inches, probably
Yeah,
close to a foot of snow.
a little over a foot. I was like,
A little
where
over a
where do the
foot.
steps begin? Where do they end? I don't know.
I'm
The
not
people
leaving.
that went out to shovel today kind of were guesstimating where they were stepping.
Nope, I would be inside too. I would be like, where the steps begin and end? I don't know. I'm not going to find out. And, we had some cold for us, San Diego wimpy, Southern California wimpy people. We did have cold weather, but today we're like, I think the high is going to be like 70, 71, something like that,
Oh
maybe, maybe
God.
72. So total opposite. And today I am drinking our Cremosi Vineyards Pinot Noir.
Ooh.
This is one of the ones that we got when I was in Portland last year. It's their Cuvée estate grown out of Dundee Hills, Oregon, the Willamette Valley, which is delicious. And we had a interview with Sophia from the one of the owners of Cremosi Vineyards last year. I
Mhm.
think it's our September 2025 episode. So if you want to listen to that, check it out. But girl, there is a lot of shit that, like you said, that's already
Well,
happened. So, well, let's start salud.
first,
Let's start
yes.
with a good salud.
Salud.
6 years. We just 6 years of wine and
Yes.
chisme. Let's start it off. Yeah. February 17th is our anniversary. That's when we dropped the very first three episodes of what was then the Wine and Chisme podcast. Now it's just Wine and Chisme. Like I just figured for searchability, it would be easier because instead of putting
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. So do I really need podcast? So it just became, people always refer to me as Wine and Chisme anyways. Nothing else is
Right.
changing. We're not changing the website. It's still the Wine and Chisme podcast.com. We're not like, I've updated the logo just to remove the in the podcast. Otherwise, nothing else has changed. Um, so but it's so crazy when I think about those first episodes, Erika. When I think about 6 years ago, the music has
Oh my
changed,
gosh.
the format has changed. Um,
Right.
the just the polishness just seems a lot. The polishness. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're making it a word today.
We're making it
It
one.
just it's just gotten so much better. The fact that over the last 6 years we've gone on tour, we've done wine tastings,
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, and I don't think I've counted, but we're rapidly approaching 300 episodes. We haven't hit it yet, but we will. And in these 270, this is episode 277. So in these
Mm-hmm.
277 episodes, I have easily had 250 guests
That's
on the
insane.
podcast.
That's insane.
Yes,
That's a lot of different perspectives. There's a lot of stories.
it
Wow.
is. I know. And I am so grateful for being able to do this. I am so blessed to be able to do this because, when people, and I had talked about it on one of my reels, where we were talking about, we pulled one of these Amiga cards and it was a healing card and it said, like, what would you tell your inner Nina
Mm-hmm.
to go back? And I basically was like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, because I was told growing up, I talk too much. And anybody that knows me knows I talk a lot. And that's okay, right? Like, I get it. But I would get in trouble in school because I would do my work and I would be done. And I didn't just sit there, I would get up and start talking and whatever. But I just find it interesting, maybe a little bit sad, maybe a little bit. But the thing that I do best in relating to people and wanting to hear people, I was discouraged from doing that when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
obviously the classroom is not the place to do it, but I don't think teachers knew how to direct me into something like, well, why don't you do this or
Right.
why don't you do that? And I don't know if that has changed or not. I hope it has, or if you're the adult to a young person in your life, you see something
Mm-hmm.
that they are potentially good at that may not have been apparent to anybody else, or they don't know like something else they could do with those gifts. Because I just think that had I been encouraged, right, in the right
Right.
way, maybe I would have found my voice a lot sooner. So
Yeah.
I am just like so happy to be here and continuing to do this and to have so much support and so many people want to be on the podcast. So it's exciting.
Yay.
Yay.
It's a great way to
Yay.
start the year.
Yes, it is. I mean, girl, you got started a good way because hell in a handbasket is where we're headed right now.
Yep, yep. I feel
It looks
like
like if you're
this
on video,
year,
it looks like I have uh like a side pony. I really don't. It's just uneven.
I
Like
thought it was a side pony.
no, it's not. For some
Because I was
reason
like, it
it's
looks so cute. Oh my
just
God.
so where do you want to start, girl? Because we like these are the ones that we just put bullet points. We just put bullet points. Do we want to just
Right.
start with
I don't
the
know where to start.
challenging stuff and go to good, or do we just want to go good and then let's just start with the challenging stuff first? Let's just start with,
I'm I
because then we
mean,
can get
it
it out
seems
of the
to all
way.
be challenging right
Right.
now.
Okay, well, let's start with what happened at the beginning of the year, right? Like
Yes,
obviously we have starting off in the year, we have what everything that's happening in Minnesota. And here's the
right.
thing. it is still happening in Minnesota. We're just not seeing it as much.
Right, right.
Unless you live under a rock, you know what's happening in Minnesota. You know that there were not just 2 deaths, there have been 5 deaths, there may have been more directly contributed to ICE in
Mm-hmm.
regards to protests. We know what happened with Liam Ramos and his dad. Thankfully, they are back, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Right, right.
We, the fact, like, we cannot move on from that. Like, we cannot move on from that because Trump was trying it in LA. He was trying it in here. He was going to do it in Maine, but because Susan Collins is a Republican and running for senator,
Mm-hmm.
she asked them not to. Like, this is the bullshit that is actually happening, right?
Right.
Um, I have a lot, but go ahead, Erika. I don't want to just dominate
I
it because
no, no, no.
I drink my wine.
You know what? It's interesting because so much has been going on that it feels like that happened such a long time ago. And I'm listening to you speak about it now and kind of trying to place in my mind when it was that it happened. And it was weeks ago. It wasn't even like months and months ago. It was just a few weeks ago. But, thinking about that, I'm just like, it's it's just a lot. It's very overwhelming. Um, it's infuriating. I feel like my hands are tied. I don't know what I can do. Um, I think it's also like the older generation is, I think, more afraid as well. Because my mom is always, it's like the past few weeks, she's like, oh my God, you guys can't go out. You can't do this. You can't like look around. Like she's freaking out anytime anyone steps out of the house. And I have to keep on telling her, okay, but ICE is going to people's houses. So it's not even a matter of, oh my God, let's stay in and like hide out. Like you gotta go live your life out in the world. And these people are making it so difficult. And then and it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if you're a citizen. It doesn't matter if you're undocumented, if you look a certain way, if you act a certain way, right? If you do something that they don't agree with, because those are all the criteria that they have been, working under, and they think they're above the law. And that's dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is, it's bleeding into all of these other things, right? You have like what they're doing to Stephen Colbert, what they're doing in news organizations. CBS is like complete trash
Right,
organization these days. Like Barry
right.
Weiss. Fuck you, Barry Weiss. I'm gonna say that because guess what? FCC can't come after me. This is a podcast, right? But Barry
Right.
Weiss, like, fuck you, because the fact that they put like she put the kibosh on that Seacott story, right? We talked
Right,
about
right,
this
right,
before. There was a mass let go of journalists, and they mostly happen to be journalists or people
right.
that
Of
work there
color,
that come
people
from
of color.
communities of color.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then this whole Stephen Colbert thing of not being able to put James Tallarico, which this like law of giving equal time has never been something that's been enforced on talk shows in like
Mm-hmm.
decades. But
Mm-hmm.
now they want to force it. Like it's just all of these things. And then we just need to continue to be aware of it happening, never
Yeah.
let our guard down. We can
Yep.
never stop protesting, talking about it, because once we do, then they've won. Then they're like, they keep trying to condition us to
Mm-hmm.
be okay with this. That's why they keep doing it. They
Right.
try to keep conditioning us that this is what it is, but we
Mm-hmm.
cannot be conditioned and we cannot think this is normal because it's not normal. And then that bled into things that were happening, right? It bled into the Grammys,
Right.
where we had, obviously the big thing of Bad Bunny when he accepted it. First of all, Bad Bunny, woo, loved
Yeah, I
having
know.
it,
My
you know,
gosh, it was like Bad Bunny is not letting up.
no. And then he said,
The foot
first
is on
I
the gas.
out. But here's the thing as well. First of all, he was the first artist that won album of the year for a Spanish language album. We
Right,
love that. But this is
right.
the first time you actually said, because you've said before, you don't get into the award shows like you used to. But this
Uh-huh,
was
uh-huh.
you watched some of it, but
I
also
did.
this was the first time I felt like I mostly knew the nominees except
Mm-hmm.
the new artist. I only knew a couple. And what the okay, I'm just gonna say it. Why is Addison Ray there? Like I
I
just
don't know. I don't know.
I've never had heard her song, right? I'd never heard her song. She do like an update of um like Can't Buy Me Love, which turned into Love Don't Cost a Thing. Can't Buy Me Love is with Patrick Dempsey, and then it moved, and then Christina Milian and Nick Cannon did an update called Love Don't Cost a Thing, and then they did.
Uh-huh.
I think she was in an updated one, but I'm
Was
like,
she?
I think it was her. I think it was her, and I just feel like I don't get her. Honestly, she's never come across my page when she was big on TikTok. I don't even know if she still
Mm-hmm.
does TikToks. But I know that I don't think that film did very well. I think it was like a straight to Netflix. It was a straight to streaming, which not to negate anything, they have some really amazing
Right,
things. But
right.
and now like, and I never heard her song, and it was real like the lip syncing was so bad on her part. It just
Oh
like
my gosh.
it was giving, like to me personally, it was giving talent show vibes.
Ooh! Oh my gosh. I mean, that's someone like I know the name, but I wouldn't be able to pick her out of like a lineup. Like I
I didn't know who it was until afterwards people were talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's who it is."
and I always ask well, they're not kids, but I always ask the kids, I'm like, guys, who is this again? Like I feel like I'm 100 years old when it comes to that, because I'm just like, who is this person? I don't know. Like the name, yes, I know the name, but I can't place her in anything. Maybe
Yeah,
it's just not for me. Maybe I
yeah,
am old. Maybe
yeah.
I should accept
Well,
I'm an old
the other new
lady.
artists, I think I've heard all of the songs from the other new artists. I did feel, but you wanted to talk because you were like, you said something when we were talking the other day in the
Uh-huh.
regards to in memoriam portion of the
Yes.
awards.
Yes. I wasn't sure if I was maybe like looking too much into it, or if it was just whatever it was, I don't know. But there were two performances during the In Memoriam, and it felt, it was one was a rock and the other R&B, which was fine. But and again, I could be looking too much into it just because of the times that we're living in, but it felt very like polarizing, very kind of this here,
Segregated.
that there, yeah, like a little segregated. And I don't know. It's something that like stayed with me past the show. Um, it's something that I haven't even talked to anyone about. Like it's just kind of things have gone by so quickly that I haven't even gotten to talk to anyone. But you and I talked about it, and I don't know, it just felt very strange. And I enjoyed both performances. I loved them both. Loved the music, loved and everything was good. It just felt
Mhm.
odd.
I don't think I paid too much attention to that because I was so excited about seeing Lauryn Hill on stage
Mm-hmm.
when she was giving her tribute to D'Angelo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Fugees, like unexpected, like
Right, like the
Fugees
Fugees
reunion,
reunion.
right? Because Roberta Flack had passed away as well. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like so excited. But so I don't know if I paid attention because I had heard that she was going to come on. So I was just like waiting. I think I was
Uh-huh.
anticipating that. So I don't think I clocked that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I will say I do find it interesting in this pipeline of white men who start out kind of on either R&B or rap side, right? That
Uh-huh.
skew into country music, Post Malone,
Post
right?
Malone.
Like,
I mean, he did a good job. He did a great job. But I know what
yeah,
you're saying.
But I'm just like, what is this? Look, I get he's from Texas and everything, but I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's been this. I wouldn't include Pink in this because Pink, LA Reid wanted her to be something very specific. She was part of an
Right. Right.
R&B group, but that was never, she was like this, she even talks about it in her song, right?
Right. Right. She didn't want to do
Um,
that. And she was kind of
yeah,
placed into that.
right. But I feel so, but I've noticed this trend of
Mm-hmm.
not just her, but like white performers starting one, and then
Yeah.
this like evolution of kind of
Mm-hmm.
skewing towards country music. And look, I do like some country
Right.
music. I don't like country, but there's also a connotation that comes with country music. I know not every country
Right.
artist believes the same thing, the same as like not every hip hop artist, obviously, like based on these things, not
Right.
every hip hop artist thinks the same thing. Not every Latino, which we'll get into, thinks
Yes.
the same thing. But
Right.
it's just always so interesting to me because I'm like, are they doing it because this is where they wanted to be? Or are
Mm-hmm.
they doing it like I don't know. I think I've never heard anybody ask that question really either.
Right.
So I would love to like one day be
Mm-hmm.
have an interview with any of these people and say like what was like obviously country music has this connotation with it.
Right.
Like what was the reasoning behind you moving from this more like I guess more of a pop genre or more of a an
Mm-hmm.
R&B or hip hop feel to moving a country? Like what was the
Mm-hmm.
mindset behind that? And how do you feel like do you feel like your fan base has grown or do you think that people are going to abandon you because of that?
Right.
So I would love to.
Right.
I've never heard anybody ask that question. I would love to hear that.
And
You heard it
I
here
feel
first. If
like
you hear anybody ask that question, that came from me.
I feel like a lot of these artists, and I mean, again, this is just like speculating and stuff, but I feel like a lot of these artists kind of get in how they can.
Yeah.
And then after a certain time of success and
Then
money,
what they really want to do.
then you can go do what you want to do, which I feel like that happens a lot, not only in entertainment, but that happens in a lot of fields where you kind of maybe want to go in doing things. I feel like that happens a lot maybe in journalism as well, where you're
Yeah.
kind of assigned what you're assigned, and then once you prove yourself, you can kind of go off and do more of what you would like to do in terms of story. I feel like that happens
Well,
too in comms, where you kind of start off at an agency and these are the clients that you're working on. Whether you
yeah.
like it or not, you just need to get in. You just need to get your
I
experience as
was
long as you're in
backwards.
the
I've
realm.
never worked at an agency and I worked strictly in house, which was crazy. I had total opposite experience. Well, speaking of like that, what are you talking about? Whatever. Obviously, Romeo Santos and Prince Royce. That's just
You know, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say one thing about this,
Why don't
and
you
I
share what they said? And just in case you missed it, I'm gonna let Erika give a recap of what was going on with these two.
just a very quick recap. They they're finally doing a project together, Prince Royce and Romeo. Which honestly, I feel like at this point it's too late. Like the time for them to do this was like maybe pre-pandemic, but whatever. They're doing it now, and they are promoting. They're on they're starting their tour, all this stuff, and they were on the New York Times podcast, asked about what they thought about what was going on with ICE, gave some very lackluster responses about it being complicated, and then artists should stay in their lane and this and the next. It's definitely not what anyone wanted to hear, and they got roasted for it. And then now we move forward to was it Premio Lo Nuestro? Was that it? No.
I think
Was
so.
it? I think so.
I think so.
And Romeo won an award, giving his acceptance speech. and kind of wants to say, those that know me as an artist know my heart, know where I am. Sir, you said what you said. There was nothing left to interpret. There was nothing open ended. He said what he said about being artist on one side, and art and politics doesn't match. And still he couldn't say fuck ICE. He still
Well,
couldn't
the
say. He
funny
was
thing,
referring to it as any organization. It very vague, very open ended. He still was not standing for anything, and
yeah,
people were not standing for it. Nobody was fooled. Nothing. Nobody
he
was
didn't get
agreeing.
applause.
Everybody,
He didn't even get
no, no,
applause.
no. And everyone is like, okay, ticket sales must be horrible. You said what you said. It was just kind of too little too late. And what I find funny is, I mentioned this to you too. So Cardi B was on SNL earlier this month, and she brought out El Prodigio, which is merengue típico, very known in the art, very respected, very loved. And he was a Dominican, Spanish language, on SNL. And I know that Romeo Santos was punching the air because he had mentioned why he wasn't on SNL, why he wasn't invited. Like, number one hater, number one hater.
Well, the
And it's
funny
like,
thing is,
he's not humble, first of all. He's not
yeah,
humble. Everyone that hasn't been invited lately in the kind of Caribbean music area is very humble, is very open, is very artistic. He is not.
the funny thing is a couple years ago, he didn't have a problem saying anything.
Right.
He didn't have a problem saying anything a couple years ago, but it's not. God, my ponytail has been bothering me. I'm looking at it,
Oh
but
my, I love
whatever.
it though.
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. It's just been bugging me. But he did say something a couple years ago. So the
He
fact that he
did.
came out now and has made this 180, and we were talking about like the whole Nicky Jam thing as well, like how
Mm-hmm.
you like how humiliating. I know this happened, before the election, but still to let this white man humiliate you like Trump
Yes.
did to Nicky Jam, and like she's so hot, like didn't even know you were a
Yes.
guy, like
No,
still was
I'm
telling you,
still feeling.
and then now we have Nicki Minaj trying to stand 10 toes down with him
Mm-hmm.
and this
Mm-hmm.
whole, but the whole thing is, and she's lost so much because first of all, she's not a citizen.
I
She
think she's done.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
done.
know
She's
that she
not a
can come
citizen.
back.
Her husband is on I he has been accused. I don't know if he's on a watch list, but I know he's been accused.
Oh, I don't know if he's
On
on the list.
her brother, I think, is on
Mm-hmm.
the like child predator list. And then she got one of those Trump gold cards, and she's like
Which
posting
is the
about
most
it and
ridiculous thing
everything.
ever.
But here's the thing. Then the Trump administration came out and said, "Oh, no, no, no. That's not one of our
Right.
citizenship cards.
Right.
That's just like they basically like totally fronted her and just were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, no, that's just like an example, or that's just a I forget the words that they use, but it's not
Right.
real. It's not to give her
It's not.
citizenship." And she
Mm-hmm.
kissed his, and that girl was on her knees sucking his dick so hard, right?
Yep.
That and she didn't get anything. She didn't get anything except embarrassed and has
Embarrassed.
pretty much
Embarrassed.
lost her career completely.
Yep.
So
Yep.
look, anybody that listens knows we have no problem saying how we feel. And again, podcasts are not regulated by the FCC. So
Right.
we will say fuck ICE, fuck Trump, fuck this administration, and fuck anybody that supports them. 10 toes
Yep.
down.
Yep. 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 I feel like at this point, 2026, like there's just no way. Like, the line is clearly drawn in the sand.
Yeah.
And there's no riding the fence. Pick a side. Pick a side. At this
You
point,
can't
it's
be
no,
at this
you can't
point,
be both. No
you
puedes
can't be
estar
both.
con
You
Dios y
can't,
con
and
el diablo.
also, yeah, and also with elections coming, you no longer have the luxury of being a one issue
Right.
voter. And you
Right.
can no longer have the luxury of saying, I don't agree with everything this person says. Okay, I actually we hadn't talked about this, but like Amanda Seales, I don't know how to feel about her. Sometimes I like what she says.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Though, and the
Mm-hmm.
reason I say that is because I feel like she helps amplify this thing of you don't agree with everything that I say, so I'm not going to vote. That's how, like, and she's almost
Mm-hmm.
said that in some ways before. She, is anybody perfect? No. Is the system perfect? No. But right now we have to work within the
Right.
system that we have.
Right. 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 Right.
And you not voting is not changing the system. Let's just be very, very honest. You not voting does not change the system. So when you can continually go on and encourage people, look, I think people should know as much as possible. But right now we're in this era that, oh, well, you didn't say this, so I'm out, right? You didn't say one
Right.
thing, so I'm out. You didn't. Now you have to decide what those things are. If somebody said,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody maybe didn't come out and say fuck ICE, but I saw what they were posting and they were posting things
Right.
in regards
Something.
to,
Something.
yeah,
Do something.
something, you're saying something, and
Do
maybe people are
something.
working behind the scenes. I know we don't know
Mm-hmm.
everything, but
Right.
when it comes to voting, not celebrities, but when it comes to voting, first of all, these politicians, the whole thing is to get the most votes to be elected, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if we are saying, well, you believe in everything that I do, but you didn't say free Palestine, so I'm not voting for you. I want to encourage people to look at it this way. And I do believe in free Palestine. Let's be very clear. I do believe. I don't think Gaza should be turned into what it, like this whole board of peace is a total sham. It's just
Right.
more ways for Trump to make money. He literally said he's donating $10 billion of our money
Oh
to
my
this
God.
board of peace, which is not any sort of true world uh system, right? It's not
No.
like, it's really
Well,
not. But to turn Gaza into basically like this whole, like a Atlantic City in the
it's
freaking
disgusting.
mid, it's gross, it's disgusting. I don't believe in it. Um, but you have to look at the money behind people. So every
Mm-hmm.
ad that you see, it says this ad is sponsored by, or this is supported
Right.
by.
Right. I
Look
paid
those
for.
people up. Yeah, this ad is paid for. Look those people up. See what they're doing. Like, go follow the money. We say this all the time, right? People say this all the time.
Yep.
Follow the money. And that's how you have to make a informed decision. You can't just say, oh, well, I believe in everything that this person says, but they are pro choice and I'm pro life. Really, the pro life people are not really pro life, because
No.
you're
No, they're
pro
not.
birth and that's it. You're not pro
Right.
life. So sorry, I
Right.
know I went on this extra rant and everything, but it's just so unbelievably important that we are mindful and that we are voting, and we are, especially in this year, and especially in 20, because so, like, we don't know what's going to happen between now and November, but we need to be prepared for it.
No. No.
Okay. Wine break. Time to refill that glass and come back for more Wine and Chisme. Hola, Wine and Chisme familia. If you're loving this conversation, don't let it end here. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Wine and Chisme for behind the scenes moments, wine recommendations, and daily doses of chisme between episodes. And if you don't already know, we bring these conversations to YouTube as well. Subscribe to our channel so you can see the full experience, the laugh, the tears, the wine pours, and those moments when the chisme gets real. Plus, don't miss out on our bi-weekly Spill the Chisme newsletter. Get exclusive content, wine picks, and all the chisme delivered straight to your inbox. Head to thewineandchismepodcast.com to subscribe, or just DM me the newspaper emoji on Instagram and I'll hook you up. Your support helps us amplify more voices and share more stories that matter. Now, let's get back to this conversation because it's about to get even better. So let's go into the Super Bowl because obviously Grammys won the Super Bowl. Trevor Noah like was really trying to get Bad Bunny to do something all night long. He did get a little bit, a little snippet, but Super Bowl, Benito Bowl,
Benito Bowl. Oh
girl,
my gosh.
how? What were your thoughts? I loved it.
It was
We had friends over. The other couple that was over, he's white, she's Latina,
mhm.
and they brought their kids. So, but we were all like, yeah. And let me just say this before we get into it. They had some commercials, and when they were talking about the ring commercial, me and the wife, like
Uh-huh.
my we we're becoming friends, right? We need more couple friends. And we're like,
Right.
they support ICE. Why they're trying to use the dog, find your dog. No, they're trying like we were just like, oh no, we were both jumping on that. Okay, let's talk about Benito Bowl. Go.
So it was amazing. No notes. Um, I my little Dominican heart was so excited because finding out like about the performance later on, the guy at the beginning of the performance is Dominican. Um, and then they did start the show with a little bachata intro, right? For Titi Me Preguntó.
Yes.
So that was like exciting. We're all going crazy. Lady Gaga's dress was designed by a Dominican designer, which it was just, oh my God. It was so great. And then honestly, I feel like bringing Ricky Martin out was
Oh, I
phenomenal.
wanted to cry. I wanted to
Phenomenal.
cry.
And performance aside, how is that man 50 plus? How is that
Twice a
man
day.
50 plus? I mean, whatever. I'm still trying to reconcile with that. But
He
like
has
I've been in love with
uh
Ricky Martin for the majority of my life.
same. I remember when he was in Menudo, and then he even was on General Hospital for a while. Now I will say I didn't like the General Hospital look because I never liked him with long hair. I
I
never liked
did.
it. Oh, I
I
did.
loved him.
I mean, the
You
face
know
was
what?
giving, but I could not stand the hair.
I loved him in Muñecos de Papel, the soap opera. And it was, it was the early 90s and the hair. And I was all about like the long hair and the rock. I loved it. And he was Latino and beautiful and gorgeous. And then I was like, oh my God, and now he's on General Hospital, which General Hospital at that time was an amazing soap opera.
Oh
Like that,
yeah.
General Hospital was top tier.
Oh, absolutely. I know when he came out, I was so excited because, for those who don't know, and I'm sure, and I don't know who doesn't know that listens, right? But
Right.
obviously, Ricky Martin came out, Menudo, he was very big in pop in Espanol, and
Mm-hmm.
um, he crossed over with Living La Vida Loca, and this whole when they're in the late 90s, there was this
Mm-hmm.
Latin pop
Yeah, the
emergent,
Latin
right?
explosion.
The Latin explosion, and Madonna was all up in it, and when he won a Grammy, and but here's the thing, like even he has said like he loved that Bad Bunny has not had to change anything to
Right.
achieve the
Right.
success that he did. And a lot of times a lot of people that speak other languages, particularly
Mm-hmm.
within the Latinx community, in order to really break through in the US market, they have to sing in English.
Right, they got to
And
do
that includes K-pop
the album,
bands.
the album,
They
not
have to
even
have
just like
an
a
album.
song. It's like the whole crossover album.
Yes. And Bad Bunny hasn't had to do that. He has stayed true
Mm-hmm.
to who he is. He had a bump there with the Kardashian era, but I think he's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. It's just a
and
bump in
it
the road.
just a bump it. Look, we all hit a bump in the
I'll
road every
allow
once in a while.
it.
We'll forgive him as long as he doesn't go back. Because if he goes back, we're gonna be so disappointed in him.
Yeah, I know.
But
I think that train has
I think
left the
that's done.
station.
But yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful moment. And the fact that he really highlighted things that were going
Mm-hmm.
on in Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Rico, right? And then at the
And it
end
was
having the
true. It was
flags.
like true storytelling. Like
Yes,
the
through
whole
storytelling,
performance
through
was the
images,
whole yes,
through like all of those things. And then at the end, having the flags of all of the countries within
yes,
Americas, North and South
yes.
America.
All the
And
Americas.
yeah, and then having that message at the end, it was just beautiful. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you missed it or haven't seen it or refuse to see it, I feel really bad for you because um it was beautiful and the message was
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
And
So,
he invited small businesses to
and a
participate
real
in
wedding
the
happened.
performance. A real wedding happened from his fans.
Yeah, they invited him to his wedding. And
Mm-hmm.
how do you, like, how many invites does he get, right, to weddings that this is the
Right.
couple that he chose to say, you
Right.
know, why
I
don't
feel
you
like
get
they
married?
kind of just landed and worked out that way. It was like, all right, well, you getting married at the same time. Let's go.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also been some sadness with celebrity
Yes.
deaths.
A
And
lot in the
yeah,
past
I
2 months.
know. Well,
A
okay.
lot.
So a couple of the biggest ones over the last few weeks, just a couple weeks,
Mm-hmm.
Catherine O'Hara. I was shocked
I
when
was
I heard
shocked
this.
too.
I was like, wait, what?
I've been rewatching Schitt's Creek.
Ugh.
It's so
I just
funny.
want to rewatch like everything. We just watched what last week? We just watched Best in Show.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like I'm just like everything she does is perfection. Like truly
Mm-hmm.
every character she plays is, and she doesn't ever play just like the straight guy, right? She doesn't ever just play like somebody just totally normal. Oh, I guess the Home Alone is the most
Right.
normal she plays, but even then she's like extra. But you think
Uh-huh.
all of the like Schitt's Creek, Moira will go down in
Moira's the
history,
best.
right? You think of Beetlejuice, right? Lydia D like
Mm-hmm.
playing the crazy mom. You
Right.
think of, like I said, something like Best in Show. You think like she just is so marvelous in every
Yeah.
role
Yeah.
and she brings something different to every role. And then we have somebody our age, literally my age,
Yes. Yeah.
James Van Der Beek, grew up
Which
watching
is it's scary.
Greek. Um, and just, you know, it was, you could see, you knew it was coming, but I think it's still a
Right.
shock
Right. Right.
because every time you would see him, he was getting more gaunt and more gaunt and more
Mm-hmm.
gaunt. So, and then literally the other day, Eric Dane from
Yep. Yep.
LAS and McSteamy, and people knowing him from that and knowing him
Yeah.
from most recently from Euphoria. And
Right.
it's just those are probably like the three main things that have happened over the
Mm-hmm.
last.
Well, I mean, even not like I guess not celebrity, but no, notable and recognizable with Jesse Jackson, with the Reverend Jesse
Jesse, oh
Jackson.
yes. I mean,
Hmm.
I was
Which
watching.
I didn't. Was he sick or
I don't remember if he had, I don't know if they said he had cancer or not, but like the last few years, because he was in his 80s, and I know everybody, like you look at Jane Fonda, who's in her 80s and still very like
right?
vital and everything, and he was
Yeah,
in his
Jane
80s.
Fonda
And
is like every time I see her, and I'm just like, how are you almost 90?
look, I'm just gonna say I will probably cry the day that I hear she passes, because not only is she just iconic with her acting, but that woman has been a freaking activist. Have you heard
Hmm.
the story
She's been a
of
warrior all her life.
yeah, well, okay, so I don't know if you've heard this story, but her dad um Peter is her brother, I think. Her dad
Yeah.
is what's the
Um,
oh my gosh, why can I not remember
hi.
the name of Jane Fonda's dad?
I'm gonna look it up. It's gonna bother me.
I
We'll
know.
go ahead.
Hold on. Henry Fonda.
Yes.
Okay. So she was talking about this story of how she became an activist, and it was because of her dad. And apparently, when her dad was young, he lived in Oklahoma and he saw um,
Right.
people from the
Yep.
Black
I've heard
community
that
being
story.
dragged and being hung. And that affected him so much that one time he heard Jane use the N word and slapped her and
Mm-hmm.
was like, you never say that word again. You never blah, 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 blah. And so it was formed. Henry Fonda, like being from that total generation, total,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And being so conscious of it and then making sure that his kids knew, right? Like their responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been an activist her whole life. I mean, she was written off in the 70s during the Vietnam War, and people will call her Hanoi Jane, calling her a traitor. But now looking back, right, and she had that for a long time hanging on her. But now you look at that and
Yeah.
you're like, why were we even in Vietnam? That was not a war we should have even been in. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like I think she's amazing. Obviously, she's human. She's not perfect, whatever. But I like that's probably a celebrity death that will hit me hard because
Mm-hmm.
I admire her strength. I
Yeah.
admire her character.
Yeah.
Um, and I admire her tenacity in regards to, she had a time in there where she was married to Ted Turner, but then when she got out of that marriage and she wasn't really acting, but she knew it was time to get out of that marriage, and she has just been full steam ahead ever since. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
And then another person that passed, was it over the weekend? Was Willie Colon?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to go back to Jesse Jackson because Jesse Jackson was truly a powerhouse. He had run
Mm-hmm.
for president. He did a lot of stuff, a lot of things with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes.
He, though there was on social media, there was a lot of things when he was on Sesame Street and he's like, I am somebody with the kids. And he,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I may be black. I may be black. And this is kids of white, black, Asian, but he was like, I may be black. I
Right.
may be white. I may be brown, but I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am some. I mean, it was just, I was like, oh my gosh. Like all little kids need to see this every single
Yep.
day of
Yep.
their life because they, all of us need to see this every single day of our lives
That's what I
because
was about to say. I was like, I might need that too.
oh, it was so beautiful. And just the fact that I just feel like when it comes to obviously Latinos are a scapegoat for everything happening wrong in this country is because of the Latino community.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the black community gets the short end of the stick of so much,
Yeah.
it just this is why we cannot, again, kind of going back to the very beginning, this is why we cannot stop talking about these things because I have so many friends of so many ethnicities
Mm-hmm.
that there's not a single one that I wouldn't fight for. And
Right.
I feel like even doing the podcast is, it shouldn't be like, it's a basic, at this point, it's a form of resistance. And
Yeah.
I just being us is a form of resistance. Us being able to have a happy day is a form, like, it's ridiculous, but
Mm-hmm.
that's why our communities need to have each other's backs so hard. And believe me, I know that there's some self-hating Latinos. That's
Yeah.
not gonna happen here. If I find a self-hate, if I heard somebody on this, I'd be like, and I would run it. If somebody said something derogatory about like the Black community or the Asian community or something like that on here, I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? We don't talk like that here. Fuck you, and we're gonna end this. I'm gonna kick you off. Why? Because I can.
Because you can. You're in control of it. That's
Yes,
what's nice about podcasting.
that is the nice thing. Um, so the other thing being, oh, Olympics. Olympics just
Olympics,
ended.
Olympics.
Did you watch? How was your? Did you watch them?
I I haven't watched the Olympics in a while. Um, Growing up, the Winter Olympics were my favorite. I preferred the Winter Olympics over the Summer Olympics. But I do watch the figure skating. I
Oh, it
haven't
was so
followed
good. Alyssa
closely.
Liu.
I haven't like followed closely in a while, but I do like to catch the performances.
Okay, so we did watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna say like it was one of those things where it was also a little bit like, how do I watch this? Right? Not
Mm-hmm.
because normally I'm like, yeah, let's go USA. I'm not proud of our country right now. So it's very hard to be like, let's go USA. So it's more like
Right.
about the person, right? About the like rooting those
About the
athletes on.
athlete, right.
And then sometimes you were just seeing a good story and you're like rooting for a different athlete, like that wasn't from this country or whatever. Or
Mm-hmm.
so it's just, it was a little bit like me and Antonio were talking about it in regards to like how do you watch it? Not necessarily be like like you want these athletes to win. You want all of the
Right.
athletes to win, to be perfectly
Right.
honest, because they've worked so hard
Yeah, that
to
level.
get to that.
Will say this about the Olympics. I find it like I feel like there has to be something else done because you have these athletes, these incredible athletes that qualified to go to the Olympics. But to get to the Olympics, you are on your own. You have to figure out how to get
In
there,
this country, wait, let's like
lodging.
this country, because there are a lot of countries that
Mm-hmm.
pay for their athletes, that pay their athletes. We don't.
Oh, you see, I didn't
And
know that. I see.
yeah, there's other countries that pay their athletes, but also the uh what they get for medaling is like it's not anything.
It's
Apparently, once you
right.
get to, so I was reading something. Apparently, when you get to like Olympic training, you get a stipend, but the stipend is like, I don't even think a couple $1,000s. It's like very
Mm-hmm.
low. So it doesn't really pay for anything. So, and then when you get a medal, that's not determined, like what you get for a medal is not determined by the IOC, that is determined by the country from which that athlete comes from. So there are certain countries that pay a lot more for getting a medal versus what the US
Mm-hmm.
gets paid. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a whole thing. We're always like, people need to come up by their bootstraps. But again, it's that whole thing of there's a difference between equality and equity. Have you, like,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I've seen
we
those
don't,
like
yeah, those photos that kind of show what
right.
the difference between equality and equity is, right? Equality, everybody starts from the same thing. Equity makes sure everybody gets a fair chance
Right.
to be able to do that. And we don't care, like we say we care about equality, but we don't care about equity. I mean, that's really what a lot of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. But yeah, now it's over. Now we're going back into baseball season, which we are very happy about in this household
That's your
because baseball
season.
season is our season. Yeah, I mean, you know,
Padres.
yeah, that's right. Padres, baby, Padres. Okay, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit because we're gonna get into uh we have two more things to get into, and then we actually have gotten through a lot this time. We're just like Erika dropped off, so we're gonna go on a pause right now. Let's see. Pause.
Jesus.
All
I
right, so
got too
we have
excited.
so we have just a couple other. We've actually been going through these topics very quickly
Yeah,
today.
we've been flying through the topics.
This is the first time because normally we just get stuck on one thing or two things, and then we're like,
Mm-hmm,
oh,
mm-hmm.
forget the other five things we were going to talk about. The America Next Top Model
Oh
Netflix
my gosh.
documentary.
Oh my I when I saw the commercials for it, I knew. I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. It's gonna be a weekend watch. I'm gonna get my popcorn, I'm gonna get ready.
Oh, you
And
definitely need your popcorn on this.
it honestly it did not disappoint. However, the one coming up in March, I think it's
That's
gonna be a lot more of the nitty-gritty.
okay. So this is what because we have Fubo streaming service. And right
Mm-hmm.
now, Fubo and NBC Universal are in like a contract dispute. So we don't get like the NBC Universal stations, which is NBC,
Uh-huh.
which actually we get it on Amazon. So that's how we were able to watch the Olympics. But
Okay.
we don't get like the USA E, and it's going to be on the E channel.
Yes.
So I need to figure out how the heck I'm going to watch this because I have to watch this. But the Netflix documentary, so I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Have you heard the backstory? It was originally supposed to be a documentary on Miss J when he had a stroke. Um,
Oh, I didn't know
it
that.
was supposed to be a documentary on Miss J and the journey, but then all it morphed into this America's Next Top Model because of
Mm-hmm.
Mr. J and Nigel participate. Like, so it just morphed into that. So
Right.
This is like Tyra was just an interviewee on this. She was not
Uh-huh.
an executive producer. She was not. Thoughts.
Well, first of all, I just honestly I think Tyra is not all there with us. I feel like she's always kind of been extra. Um, and I found it very sad that she set out to do one thing and quickly changed and just kind of went with whatever she was told and directed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which again, I think that is also indicative of the time, right? You actually get something greenlit, and it was like if it wasn't at UPN, then it was nothing because that was like the last ditch. Everyone
Yeah.
had said no.
Yeah.
So you get this thing, you're fighting for scraps, you get this thing greenlit, and you're gonna do everything that they tell you, right? You're not gonna push back. You're not gonna do anything because you want to keep this thing going. You have something to prove, and you know, hindsight is 2020. But I'm kind of glad that we see things in a different lens now, and that people are empowered to push back and open to pivoting. Which I
So
think
let's
that's
talk.
something that's good that came out of the pandemic, where people are just a lot more open to the pivot. Where if that's
Yeah.
not working, I do this. If you don't want to give it to me, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna go do that anyway. I'm gonna go do it here, there, everywhere.
Yes. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about. First, the whole Shandy situation.
Yes.
I remember watching that. And I remember thinking like I will say this. I remember thinking she was really drunk, but I didn't think at that time because you can
Mm-hmm.
only go by what she says now, right?
Right.
I didn't think at that time not to say that she wasn't of sound mind to
Mm-hmm.
consent or not to consent, but obviously she had been drinking. But I didn't
Right.
think at that time that she was at the point of
Mm-hmm.
non-consent. Does that make
Well,
sense?
you know what it is? You see that, and it's like, well, surely people are not gonna allow something like that to happen if
Right.
you're all filming, like like
Yeah.
that has to be okay because
Yeah.
who would allow that?
And I think
And
now that, but this was what, 20 years? How many years? Was that 20 years ago now?
maybe a little over 20 years ago. Was that it was
So,
before 2006.
yeah. So, I was in my 20s for sure at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you look at it, you relate it to what your experience, if you've had an experience like that before,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, and I like looking back, and maybe not at that moment, but I did have an experience where I didn't like, I was making out with somebody and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember consenting, but I know that that's not what I wanted, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that's not what I wanted, and I was very inebriated, and I do parts remember saying no, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't, like, but I don't remember the whole thing. So I
Right.
understand that. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd had that experience at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the fact that what really bugged me, not about Shandy, but about Tyra, was when they talk about Shandy, they're like, "Do you remember?" Then she's like, mm, "Bitch,
Right. She
you
was just like, you
remember."
remember, girl.
Don't, like, that's what really irritated the
Yeah,
hell
she
out
was.
of me.
Well, at first she was just like, no, I don't remember. Like, girl, yes, you do. You
That's not
100%
something like
remember.
we all remember. We all remember that whole thing. And my heart, even after that time, like when it was happening, my heart was breaking for Shandy because she was like,
Mm-hmm.
even if like I said, I don't remember my exact feelings at that moment, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever they were, I was like, everybody makes a mistake. And now she has to admit this is
Mm-hmm.
mistake to her boyfriend with
Right.
everybody watching. Like,
Right.
I was heartbroken for her because I was like, that's
Well,
so fucked up.
again, like, and then like something that kept on coming up during the documentary, right, is, oh, we're looking at this with 2026, with a 2026 lens, right? But looking back, like, yeah, 20, 25 years ago, there's tons of fucked up shit going on. That even like, somebody, we would have been in what, our 20s then? There's tons of stuff where you're just like, I don't know how to say, what to say. If I
Yeah,
say, then I get blacklisted. Like that was very real. Again, like
very real.
now you people have a little more agency, a little more license, people, a little more community, right? Not then.
I know. And the whole
It's
thing. And I
very
mean,
disappointing to see that.
and then obviously we see the thing with Tiffany, right? Because that's something that has
Oh
lived
my gosh.
on. That meme has
I
lived
that meme.
on. Uh, and but then, even beyond that, just seeing what everybody's reactions
Hmm.
were in
Hmm.
regards to how they felt or what was
Right.
happening or being sick, or that one poor girl who was like, my friend just passed away and now we have to do this thing in a casket. I remember
Hmm.
when I
And the
it was
girl
just,
that with the photo shoot where
yeah.
her mom had passed away
Oh, it's her
from.
mom. Yeah.
Right.
From breast cancer, right? Her mom had
It was
just
it
passed.
was it was something. I don't know. Oh, no, no, no. She hadn't passed. I think her mom was a victim of violent crime and was paralyzed. Was it?
No, I
And
think
then
her
they
mom
had.
had
I don't
died.
remember. I don't remember what it was, but she had to do the shoot where she
That's
was
how
like
much we
shot and
remember
dead.
because we were so focused on certain other parts, right? But yeah, and then she had to do this thing, and then it was just then the
Hmm.
end. Let's just like there was just a lot of fucked up shit. Let's just say
Right.
that there was just a lot of
Well,
fucked up shit that you didn't realize that you were going to see. And I get that. And here's the thing, and I understand like I don't think that Tyra lived. She definitely lived in a bubble, but she wasn't in that bubble alone. She
right.
had like let's just be real. Miss J,
Hmm.
Mr.
Right.
J,
But
Niall,
they were all there. They
Janice,
were all there
they were all
doing it.
there. They were all part of it. And it
Hmm.
just felt like maybe with the exception of Nigel, because he says he's seen Tyra and everything, but it just
Hmm.
or and maybe Miss J, I don't know. But I will definitely say I felt like Mr. J was very much like putting everything on her.
Right.
And
Well, here's the
I
thing
was
too,
like,
like,
you were part of it too. And you didn't, none of them said that they were sorry. Let's be honest. Like they were saying, oh,
well,
well, it was different back
they,
then. It was different back then. They weren't saying, I look at it now and
hmm
I'm like, fuck, that was fucked up. And I wish we
well,
wouldn't have done that.
here's the thing. I feel like I can't remember much of Miss J, but I know Mr. J and Nigel on a couple of like things that they were asked. They did say like it was fucked up. Like I can't believe we actually did things like that. Especially Nigel was just like, I don't understand how we got away with doing half of what we were doing.
But I'm trying
But
to, well, yeah, and you know what? I guess the other thing is
Tyra was just not
zero apologies.
zero. She wasn't even like, 'cause, okay, like, fine if you're not gonna apologize for it, like, but at least acknowledge that the shit was fucked up.
And the fact that all she said was, "Oh, people call me out on my shit, and I want you to call me out." Yeah, so say you're sorry for the shit people are calling you out on. Just say, you know what? Looking back on it, damn, like,
Hmm.
damn, that was messed up. And wow, I
Right.
wish I would have made another decision, or I wish I would have
Hmm.
stood up to the network reps in a
Right.
different
Well,
way,
I
or
found that
maybe just
interesting too.
ended it.
She didn't even like defend herself
No,
because she could have been like, this is what was going on. This is how I felt. I wasn't empowered. I was trying to empower other people and I wasn't empowered myself. Like she
or
did
I
not
was
even try to
afraid
defend
that
herself.
well, she could have even said, "Look,
Hmm.
I know this was messed up, and I was afraid to stand up because if I went against
Right.
the ultimate powers that be, they would have canceled it, and this would have never
Right.
happened,
Right.
right?" And I feel like the vision that I had for this show it just would have fallen flat, and nothing would have ever like it. That's it. But she didn't even say that. And the sad thing
Right.
is I loved Tyra growing up. I loved seeing this beautiful black woman with hips and butt and breasts,
Hmm.
like showing up. Now let me just say, I think the most one of the like the two black models I think are the most stunning ever are
Hmm.
Beverly Johnson and Iman.
Hmm.
Like,
Iman is
oh my gosh. Like, I think my knees would
no
go
words.
weak if I
No
saw
words.
either of them in person. I think my knees would just legit go like buckle under because I'd be like,
Because
oh,
it's not only a beautiful face, but just the
what they
poise and like
emote.
it's just like, oh my god, like, yeah, like, you
Look
want
at
to
me just thinking,
sit
I'm
a
like,
little like
oh,
taller and you kind of just want to like, yes, that is what I
yeah,
want to be too.
yes.
But
And I'm not even saying Naomi Campbell because that girl crazy.
I mean, she crazy, like,
She crazy.
the
Is she
woman is
beautiful?
beautiful,
Yes, but
but
she crazy.
she is very, you don't know, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, now let's wrap it up with the last thing because I just added it this
Okay.
morning.
I have been down this rabbit hole since yesterday. Like, and then today it was the only thing that came up on my TikTok feed all day is the BAFTA.
Oh my gosh. I am
And
just
uh,
what?
I have a lot of thoughts on it.
Okay, hold
I
on. I need to do
do.
something. I am. what do I say? Okay. The last thing we're going to talk about is the BAFTA Awards. And during the BAFTA Awards, I can't even believe that we're even sharing, like having this discussion. So, if you are not aware, during the BAFTA Awards, there was a racial slur. The N-word was yelled out against Michael
With
B.
the hard
Jordan
R.
with the hard R against Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. Okay. This was supposedly a tick from a
Right.
gentleman that I forgot his name.
It's Jonathan Davidson.
Jonathan Davidson. He has Tourette's.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have two questions. First, does a tick, does anything just come out? And I do actually have some additional information in regards to this, but
So
does anything come out? So, or is it like there, or were these thoughts that were already in his head? And so when he had a tick, that's what came out. Also,
I
on top
from
of
what
that,
oh
oh, go ahead.
go.
Also, on top of that, what the fuck is wrong with BBC that let that go live when there was already a 2-hour delay, yet they edited out when somebody said free Palestine?
My issue with the whole thing is BAFTA and BBC
Mm-hmm.
because they're both organizations that they're big organizations. It's not like some rinky dinky awards show going on. There's a whole production team, there's a whole comms team, right? And first of all, they should have prepped people accordingly, right? Because if we're making this inclusive, right? We're making it about everyone being able to feel comfortable, right? Then that's your job. Your job is creating that ambience, right? And it's like you said, they were able to bleep free Palestine, but they didn't do it for that. Why? And then they gave the most ridiculous apology. Like, who wrote that? Just from like a marketing comms perspective, who the hell wrote that?
Girl. Okay,
And
so
then in terms of like Tourette's, from what I understand and know, I think it's kind of just anything that you hear that can kind of pick it up, right? So
yeah. This is
I
from
will say
Hannah
something though,
Bleacher.
real quick. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that more people are not aware of what Tourette's is.
Well,
I
I
thought
think
more
people
people knew
think
about it.
Tourette's. I think here's the thing. I think Tourette's definitely, like, I think people know, they often think it's associated with cursing. I, when I think, how it's portrayed in the media or in reality shows is that yes, there's a tick. Often it is
Mm-hmm.
saying things, it is saying, but having a tick with the hard R, the N word with the
Mm-hmm.
hard R, that just, I don't
Well,
know. Like to
things
me, like,
things that
was
come
that
up are
something
like,
that's, but is that already in your vocabulary?
but it's
That,
in everyone's vocabulary. Like, you know what I mean?
well,
It's
yeah,
something that everyone has heard.
technically everybody knows it, but
Everyone has
I
heard
don't
it.
know. It's so hard. It's so hard because I don't know enough about Tourette's. I'm not
Everyone
gonna
has
lie,
heard it.
I don't know enough about Tourette's, but like you said, coming from a comms PR perspective, like whoever wrote the apology for the dude fucked up because that was not, there's not enough of an apology. However, okay, again, I'm gonna read this statement to you because I
Mm-hmm.
think that this will also have an effect. Okay, Hannah Beechler, she was, I think, one of the wardrobe people for Sinners. She says,
Yeah.
I keep trying to write about what happened at the BAFTAs and I can't find the words. The situation is almost impossible, but it happened 3 times that night. And one of the 3 times was directed at myself on the way to dinner after the show. She continues, at a third time and a third time at a Black woman. And she's a Black woman. I understand and deeply know why this is an impossible situation. I know we must handle this with grace and continue to push through. But what made the situation worse was the throwaway apology of if you were offended. We need to get rid of that phrase. If you were offended. Fuck you. Obviously, people were offended. Like, I'm sorry for offending you. How hard is that? Right? At the end of the show, of course we were offended, but our frequency, our spiritual vibration is tuned to a higher level than what happened. I am not steel. This did not bounce off of me, but I exist above it. I can't take it away from who I am as an artist. Again, I don't know enough about Tourette's to be like, oh, this type of Tourette's or that type of. I just know that one, BBC and the BAFTAs could have, and should have done way better because the fuck it wasn't edited out, right? When Free Palestine was edited out. And that is a very conscious choice. So they came back with an apology, and apparently they've said it's been edited out now. But now it's too late. Everybody has seen it.
Now it's
like,
too late.
What? Like, the fact that you even let it happen in the first place and didn't edit it out, who is your editor? Like, who is, like, you have to take full responsibility for that. That is bullshit.
And honestly, I think the issue that I have is that I feel a lot of the comments online are misdirected, because I feel that honestly the onus is on BAFTA and BBC, because they're running the show. They're running this, they're inviting who they're inviting, they know who's going, what awards, they control all of these things. And they just did a very poor job of being very dismissive of two whole communities. Like, well, not two whole communities, because they were a little more what do you call this? They were more dismissive of the Black community. Right. They were more dismissive. So, but honestly, you have these two communities, and instead of uplifting, it was more damage, because now that's all that people can talk about. That's all that people can talk about. Both of those movies have a very clear message, and people are talking about it, but not more than the actual situation. So now it's just the moment. Both of those films are getting overlooked. Everyone working in it is kind of just like dismissed, and that half-ass apology is not going to do anything to improve anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I hope that gentleman that had the tick, I truly hope that that's not something that he thinks on a regular basis, and then it just came out in that way. I don't know him. I don't know his work. But again, like you said, the onus more than anything is to the BBC and the BAFTAs. And it was really hard to watch. And we'll just, that moment took over the entire night. And that's all people are going to ever know from this year's BAFTAs. That's all anybody will ever know about this year. But with the Oscars coming up, can I just say, I know this. I know I'm a hater, and I'm fine with that. I don't want fucking Timothée Chalamet to fucking win. I don't want him to win an Oscar.
Let me tell
I'm so
you,
fuck
I don't even
anything
know
that
what he's
has to do
nominated for.
this Marty Supreme. I'm just so
Oh,
okay.
right, 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 right,
Honestly,
right, right, right,
I
right, right.
am so sick of anything that Kardashians and the Jenners touch because all they are out for
Except Bad
is
Bunny.
exposure and money. Except Bad Bunny because that man got away. But I am just so over. I'm so sick of it. I am like, I anything that has to do with the Jenners and Kardashians, I try to avoid like the plague at this point. I will say there was a time I truly admired them because they really I wasn't like fans of them, but I
Mhm.
admired the fact that they took they took Kim's sex tape and ran to
They sure
become
did, all the way to the
billionaires.
bank.
I think you can do that. That's awesome. But I am so sick of the culture vulture thing. You know what? Not even just them. I'm so fucking sick of these billionaires who cannot, like, all they want is more and more and more. And that includes the Kardashians. They want more and more and more and more. So many of these billionaires, that's all they want. And what is happening to the rest of the country and the rest of the world? They don't give a fuck what happens to the
Mm.
rest of us. All they want is us to be there to be their worker ants so they can continue to accumulate wealth and
And they're
put their foot
consumer.
on our necks.
Yep, and spend money that we don't have
Yeah,
because let's be so for real right now. We're all living on credit.
I'm so sick of this
We're living on
bullshit.
credit. There's no real money. We're all living on credit.
Yes. I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I've just been having so many thoughts, and me and Erika did not have a January Chisme episode. So I'm just like letting it all
I know
out
there was
because
a lot. There was a lot. There was even a lot more I wanted to
there was
mention and we
way
didn't
more that
even get to.
happened. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like,
There was a lot. Like I was gonna
oh,
ask you if you were even following New York Fashion Week this
oh
season.
my
I
gosh, I
didn't.
have
It
not.
kind
I
of just
didn't
went right over
follow.
my head, but
Same. You know what? I'm gonna have to go there for New York Fashion Week. We're gonna have to
oh
like,
my God. September. Just
yeah.
saying,
That's
putting it
usually when
out
I
in the
go
universe.
anyways. That's usually when I go
It
anyways, is in
usually
September.
is. It
I
usually is.
Yeah, except this 2025 because I didn't go to New York at all. And I was like, so missed it. I so missed. Let me just, I've told you this, and obviously I'm married now, so things are different. But I wish instead of moving to Texas and being there, I wish I would have just moved to New York. I feel like if I would have moved to New York, I probably would still be there.
Maybe.
I think I would have. I loved it. Except I would have to have something that allowed me to stay home when it was too cold because I'm a wimp.
I think you might have been still in New York and just going back to San Diego when you can.
Yeah, I think I would have. And then I think my parents probably would have been more likely to visit me in New York than in Texas, even though my dad's from Texas originally. I don't know,
I
but that's
can
not gonna
see your
happen
mom loving New
anymore.
York, coming and visiting and
Yeah,
loving it.
I've been to New York. The first time I ever went to New York, it was with my mom and my sister because my sister was going to Fairleigh Dickinson in New Jersey.
Oh, right, right. You told me that.
Yeah. So that was the first time my cousin used to live there. Obviously, I have ton of friends there.
Hmm.
Um, but and every time, like I would say probably half of my guests are at in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, a good amount. A good amount.
Easily,
We're putting it
easily.
out in the universe. September Fashion Week. So
Yes.
any fashion brands, any hotels that want to like hook Jessica up,
Oh my gosh. You know what? And then
anyone
we
that
would need
wants
to
to
do
hook
something
you
with
up,
Cindy. We would need to do something with Cindy because she did her
slide
first
into the DMs. Oh yes, with Cindy, yes.
slide into the DMs.
Slide into
Um,
Jessica's DMs for
you
work
know, I
appropriate business.
that's look, I'm not
She's
gonna
a
lie.
married lady.
Yeah, don't slide in the DMs for anything else because I'm just gonna delete it. I'll actually show Antonio first. I'll show my husband first. So be like, look what I got. I do that.
Look what you got, sir.
Like
Delete.
I do get some crazy DMs sometimes. And I read them and I laugh and then I'll save them and I'll show Antonio before I delete
Uh-huh.
them. I'll be like, oh look, somebody watch a girl. And he's like, he just laughs. He
Hmm.
thinks it's funny. I think, the day that I stopped showing him, like, if I stopped showing him and kept it to myself and responded,
Right.
that would be a problem, but I don't. And he
Right.
doesn't do that to me because, well, now when he worked at the bar, he used to have a lot of women hitting on him all the time. A lot.
Mm.
And he would show me the DMs and he would show me the pictures that these women would say,
Oh
girl,
my God.
these pictures that women would send of them in their bathing suits or their lingerie or like barely just covering a nipple type of thing. Uh,
Jesus.
and I would just be like, can you block them? Like it doesn't make me. And he'd be like, yeah. And he'd show me and he would tell me this line. And I was like, all right. But I would also tell him this was when he was in the bar. He went,
Hmm.
I would tell him, flirt your ass off, get that money.
Get that money.
Get that money because it comes to mama anyways.
Oh my gosh. Oh, before we end, I did want to show you I don't know if you can see it, my
I
set.
did see him. I saw the nails. I saw you were at the nail salon the other day.
Francesca did them.
Oh, she did. Oh, I
She
was like, I saw you getting it done.
did.
Francesca is one of
So when you
Erica's
come,
nieces.
yes, my little baby niece, my not so baby niece. So when you come in September,
Okay, she gonna do my nails?
yes.
All right. Tell Francesca I'm making an appointment. No.
September, we're gonna get some Fashion Week nails going on. Ooh, excited.
Ooh, exciting, exciting. Well, I'm excited. Like, oh my gosh, we had a lot. We had a lot to talk about. We got through it
We
all.
did, we did.
And
We
well,
breezed through a lot.
yeah, I mean, look, we couldn't get into the
Hmm.
nitty-gritty of everything because if we did, this would be like hours and hours and
Oh my gosh, we'll be here forever.
yes, but we're back. We're back with our monthly chisme.
Yay!
Next week we will have La Chancla wines. They're based out of Texas, so we're gonna have La Chancla wines
Nice.
on, and we're getting back. We haven't, we're it's just an exciting time for wine and chisme. And Erica,
You want to
what
run back that phone number?
the phone number to call? Nobody has
Mm-hmm.
called yet. That makes me
Call,
so
call, call.
sad. I was like, you guys, I really, really want you to call and share your things. And that's why I got a damn fucking number.
Call and share, and then we'll talk about it in our Chisme
Yes,
episode.
I do. That's what I want so bad. I want somebody to call and share their things. I mean, we have been getting some feedback on messages, even on Spotify of people leaving comments and stuff like that. And
Mm,
I've had a couple of people say, we love when you talk about your personal life. Like we get to know you a little bit
okay.
more. And I'm like,
Ooh.
thank you. I appreciate that because I feel like, really? You want to hear about my personal life? All right, cool, cool. I'm trying to figure out what's my number? Okay, so because you guys, I want you to call, and Erica wants you to call. We want to hear your
Yes.
voice. We want to hear. So you can leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you have like a suggestion of a guest or a topic, like you can call us at 858-304-0266. And that's 858-304-0266. I'm sure you've heard the mid-roll ads or the beginning ads on the podcast, but we did this for a reason because
Yes.
I've had people say, do you have a call-in line? I would love to leave a message. And now nobody's calling in. So if you love
Call,
us,
call, call.
if you love me, if you love wine and cheese, man, like leave a message. Por favor. Don't make me sad. But that's it for this month, and we will see you next week. But we will see you for March Chisme at the end of March. And until then, mi gente,
Bye-bye.
adios.
Hola, mi gente. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Wine Chisme podcast. If you would like to hear more wine and more chisme, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Saludos.